Well, hi everyone, it's Pete here from the Pain Toolkit. I'm back here. I'm with a nice young lady this afternoon called Lynn Kelly. Hello, Lynn. How are you today?
I'm great today. Thanks, Pete. How are you?
Do you know what? I'm all the better for you asking me. Now, listen, why are you here? Let me tell you why I've asked Lynn on the to do a video today. Uh, I was watching part of the San Diego pain conference last week. They made available online to hear about another person with pain, and she was telling the people at the summit there about the journey through pain management and whatnot, or managing her pain. And you know what, Lynn? One of the things was that I did get irritated because part of her cat's story was about she felt she wasn't being listened to.
Mhm.
And I'm saying to myself, I was watching it in bed actually Sunday morning, I think. I'm sitting here thinking, what the hell's going on here? 25 years down the track from me. And I thought everybody's telling me that they're listening to patients and patient-centered care. And there's a young lady there over there in America with, you know, who part of her journey is she wasn't listened to, and that reminded me so much of me. So what I did on Monday, I put a shout out to healthcare professionals, and young Lynn here sort of kindly volunteered. I thought, let's get some another healthcare professionals, perhaps give their colleagues some ideas about listening. So there's going to be a couple of other people come on this video who's going to give their 5 key tips or skills or whatever you want to call it. And so Lynn is the first one up, really. So Lynn, I'm going to give my gums a break, and I'm going to hand over to you. So can you share with your colleagues what would be your 5 key tips or skills that they need to be doing so that the person with pain feels like they're being listened to? So over to you.
Thanks, Pete, and thanks for having me on today. So my sort of top tips for me as a physio that works with patients with persistent pain, listening is absolutely key. It is the biggest and the best skill that you can have with patients. So my 4 or 5 top tips are: to be a good listener, eye contact and body language are really important, and it's basic. And I think we work hard as physios to try to do that anyway. But in order to do that, sometimes you have to create a good environment, an open and welcoming environment for people to be able to have that good eye contact with you and for you to have that open body language. You need to be as comfortable as your patient in the environment you're in. So it's really important you think about where you are, where you're sitting in relation to your patient. Do you have a plinth between you and the patient, or a desk? Are you sitting next to them? Are you sitting facing them? Are you in comfortable chairs? Does your patient prefer to stand and walk around? Is that a more comfortable environment for them to be able to tell you their story? And that brings me on to my next tip, really, and that's encouraging that story, regardless of how reserved your patient is or how reluctant they are to share some aspects of that story. Even if your patient's very angry about their journey so far, it's really important that they have the opportunity to talk about that and to let those feelings out, because often you can't move past that until they have, and you can't start any meaningful rehabilitation until they've got over that hurdle of, I just need to get this stuff out because nobody has listened to me so far, or I don't feel that anybody is listening to me. Then the next one for me is, while people are telling me their story, is to focus on the impact that the pain's having, rather than looking for a cause or a source of the pain. Obviously, once we've safely cleared any potential serious pathology, it's time to really listen to what that pain means to that person. What are they not doing? What can they still do? That's as important. Encourage them in the things that they can do, and really get into the nitty-gritty of how it affects them day to day. All day, every day. It can be different in the morning than it is in the afternoons. It can be different towards the end of the week, better at the beginning because they've had the weekend to rest. But really, really dig into that. And the last thing is after you've summarised back to your patient what it is you have heard and checked in with them, it's really important that you then keep referring back to that story whenever you're progressing their rehab or talking about what you're going to do next. We're going to work on this thing next because you told me that it affects you in this, this, and this way. And that is hugely important in encouraging people to move forward and to be able to do things regardless of whether their pain improves or not. What you're looking for is that improvement in quality of life. And that for me is my top tips on communicating with patients. And so far it's working okay for me. Lots of my patients have had some successful outcomes for them, and that's what we're here for.
Lynn, thanks very much for doing that. Do you know what, I like them. I thought myself, now, if we could get a few other people, a few other healthcare professionals doing this stuff, hey, you know, there wouldn't be so many people living with pain. Lynn, thanks very much for stepping up to the plate for doing this stuff. And listen, guys, take on, you know, listen to those tips. You know, do they fit in with you, with your schedule? Because it's prompted you a little bit to perhaps I need to tweak it a little bit. But listen, well, I'll check out with you again on another video of another person's going to follow on some tips as well. So Lynn, take care, have a nice afternoon, and everybody look after yourself, stay safe. And as far as business, mate, you know, it's still very virulent out there. So keep cool, keep calm, carry on. Take care. See you now. Ciao.
Thanks, Pete. Bye-bye.
Well, hi everyone, it's Pete here from the Pain Toolkit. Yes, I'm back, and guess who I'm back with? I'm back with my good physiotherapy friend, Katie Knapton. Good morning to you, Katie. How are you today?
I'm really good, thank you, Pete.
Hey, listen, Katie, thanks for doing another video with us. In actual fact, this is a joint video that I'm putting together. Listen, a couple of weeks ago, listen, I'm getting a lot of email. I get a lot of emails from people with pain, and one of the things they always feedback to me is that they feel that they're not being listened to by the healthcare professionals. So rather than me again tell people, or I don't really tell people what they've got to do, but I thought it'd be useful to get people from the industry, from the healthcare industry, to actually give your colleagues some ideas about having listening skills, because I'm not really sure that these sort of skills are taught while they're in med school and whatnot. So, Katie, I know you come up with like five sort of a 5-point plan. So I'm breaking the teeth in for the dog next door. A 5-point plan for just some ideas really for your colleagues on about having, you know, the importance of having listening skills when you're seeing patients. So hand over to you.
Thanks, Pete. Yeah, no, so I just tried to summarize, obviously, because listening is vital. So it's thinking about every patient is unique, and so therefore is their pain story. So you need to give a bit of time for that to be told. And then from that, it's recognizing how complex pain is. So it's not just a physical, it's a psychological, it's emotional, there's social parts, got to take into account beliefs, expectations, underlying health conditions and genetics. So, you know, this is not simple. So it's also then checking as a clinician, you have really actively listened to the patient. So sometimes it's really useful to just summarize back to them to check that you've got it really clear. And then it's using these skills to try and motivate and empower the patient. So therefore you can set a relevant patient-orientated goal. So it's getting them seeing where you're trying to head them to. And that shouldn't be yours as a clinician. That needs to be totally around the patient and something that they recognize. And from that, it's showing that empathy and a clear pathway forward with these goals in mind, with ongoing support. You cannot listen to the whole story, go through the whole thing, and then wave goodbye. It needs to be an ongoing relationship. And really, those are my 5 points, really quite quick.
Hey, listen, I love the 5-point plan, mate. I'll tell you what, I really agree with him. Listen, just as a closing remark from me, you know, listen, guys, you know, you got 2 of these and 1 of these. It gives the game away, really. It's about listening, you know, learning to listen. And as I was told years ago, you know, learn to listen and listen to learn. So, handy tip there from yours truly. Katie, take care, have a good day. And I'll see you again, everybody again, and me and myself and Katie on another Pain Toolkit video. Take care of yourself. Be safe. Ciao.